we're building up the audience slowly but steadily. I cannot believe it. We're up to 429 viewers on the YouTube channel. I can't tell you how many people are watching on Facebook or whatever, but we just went over 90,000 views. 90,000. That's insane. You know, I mean, I'm telling you, my computer is burning up. It's watching it so many times. Oh, but the shorts are really taking off. The shorts are really taking off. If you go to the YouTube, you know, go to YouTube or Facebook or any of the streaming services right now, we're there, and you know, the shorts are popping up in my feed. But again, everybody has that, you know, their what's it called, that the computer companies know what you're watching, analytics. You know, they know who
Nielsen.
You are and what you like.
Nielsen ratings.
No, not Nielsen. Well, yeah, we got a Nielsen rating. You know, I'd have to start paying you guys for coming. You know,
it's called spying.
You know,
we won't argue with you if you want to do that.
Yeah,
no way. I'm telling you, you know, I'm not, as I was saying, you know, first of all, let me say, thinking out loud with friends, welcome. Today's theme is, are you okay? You know, so we'll talk about, you know, mental health and, you know, how insane I really am, which I am right now, totally insane. But the reality is what was I talking about anyway? What the hell was I talking about? Anybody paying attention?
Come on, you got to do the world opinion here.
Yeah.
Hey, you should say that if we're on. Are we on the air, Jan?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. Everything you hear today is an opinion. That's right. And so I worked on a theme song, and I've got the theme song. Unfortunately, I forgot to work on how to put it into the show. So, you know.
Here's the story of a man named Landy.
Hey, don't get me down. Don't pull me down there. Stop.
Friends. They had 4 channels and 16 buses.
Yeah, no, something like that. The words are, you know, welcome to Thinking Out Loud with Friends. We're every Wednesday at 4:45. You know, come and join us. You know, that's what it is. But it's different. It's different genre. So, unfortunately, but next week I will have the computer set up. I'll add my looped in, and also I've got what's that other Audio Hijack? That's the other app I have that I just haven't set up on this new computer. Anyway, how's everybody doing?
Maybe you just need an interface and a little mixer or something to inject it.
I have that in Las Vegas. I don't have that here. You know, I mean, I could create a whole studio now, you know, now that I'm planning on. Oh, guess what? I'm buying a drone. I finally found the drone that I want.
Which
what type?
Which one?
It's the new Flip by DJI.
Don't use it if you vacation in Bhutan.
Well, I'm not planning on vacationing in Bhutan, but according to...
And do not install the operating system onto your real phone. The app to fly it. You have to buy another phone.
Why is that, Chris?
Oh, because DJI, no one in the U.S. government is allowed to use a DJI drone. So everything that they do, it's kind of like TikTok. It all goes back to the homeland.
Where is the homeland?
China.
Don't tell me. I'll guess.
Yeah.
Don't tell me. I'll guess. Oh, yeah, ni hao, ni hao.
Yeah,
okay,
ni hao, ni hao, ha ha. And it is. I think you're not even allowed to have them if you're a contractor with the government. I mean, it's like Huawei 5G. You know, it's not allowed in most places.
Well, this new Flip, the DJI Flip, first of all, it's really small, and then it opens wide. It opens like with 4 propellers. It's really, really cool looking. It's super light, so you could use it anywhere in the world. It's legal anywhere in anywhere in the world except for countries that don't allow it. There you go. But it's all automated. Brilliant. It's completely computerized, artificial intelligence. You don't even need a controller. You don't even need
really?
a controller, from my
So
understanding.
what's your distance, the maximum distance from the controller to the device?
500 meters vertical. 500 meters vertical. 500 meters vertical,
And
and
then
up
distance?
to 15 kilometers.
Woo.
Insane.
That's
Yeah, but
insane. And the
that means
battery on this,
it's
the
flying
battery goes
autonomously.
31 minutes. 31
Yeah.
minutes, from what I understand.
It's flying autonomously. You have to program the flight path, and then it goes and does it and comes back.
Yep, that's exactly correct. And it's got all sorts of the latest and greatest technology, and it's under $500. So there you go.
Isn't there a 400?
What did you want to film exactly with it?
Well, okay. So what do I want to film exact with? I don't know yet. That's
There's
why I
some
haven't
very
bought a
nice,
drone
nude
yet.
beaches. There are nice nude beaches in Thailand. That could be a starting point.
Yeah, who cares about nude beaches at my age? At my age, nothing seems to move me anymore. Maybe it's the Firmagon that I took, but whatever it is, it's gone. I'll tell you. My testosterone at one point was like 750. And I would try to hump
TMI,
anything that
Dan.
moved, And now, when I developed the prostate cancer, they put me on this Firmagon, which dropped my testosterone down to 0, and it's been that way now for a year. Now I'm off the drug. The cancer treatment was successful. By the way, I spoke to the doctor on Friday, and he's confident that I'm cancer free. The next test come in 2 weeks, and they got me off the drug now, and my testosterone's coming back, but it's not back yet. I won't go into the details of any more than that, because that's personal, and
I had the same issue.
you know what they
when
say, right? If it ain't stiff, it ain't worth a fuck. That's it. So there you go.
I had the same issue with my brain tumor. The testosterone went to 0, and then it took about, I don't know, probably took about a couple of months, and then things were sort of back to normal. But yeah, it's not fun.
So did
Well,
you-
you could always give Doug Flutie a call. If
Doug,
you guys,
The skin.
Then I'm
seen that,
wait a second.
commercial?
I want to know if you guys took up knitting.
There you go. Okay.
Well, we're happy to hear about this wonderful prognosis. But for a minute, I thought you were talking about your credit score. But
My credit score is off the hook, man. It's off the hook. But I'm really nervous right now about what's going on in the world as far as the U.S. economy. Consumer. That's why I call the show "Are You Okay?" This particular episode of Thinking Out Loud with Friends, because basically, it's like I am watching my Facebook feed, go insane, and the amount of posting that's happening right now, and the negativity of what people are feeling is really very depressing.
And I just pulled 100% out of the stock market. I'll wait till I feel better about it. I put everything.
I was thinking about doing that.
And I meant to do it the day before it dropped 1,100 points in 2 days, and it didn't go through fast enough.
Oh, darn.
Still,
Well,
I'm out, and I don't care what they do for a while. It's probably going to take a year before I get back in again. Because I think
now
or-
when you
or
say
longer,
you're out,
depending.
now when you say you're out, does that mean you got rid of all your CDs and all your bonds and all your, I mean, is that what
CDs are guaranteed income, but I got rid of all my mutual funds and just put them in holding accounts. So no matter what the market does, it doesn't affect me anymore.
Well, it will affect you a little bit as far as interest goes. So if you have money market accounts, you're definitely affected by the interest rates. But the money markets don't reflect the actual market, because the money market funds that you have are invested previously. So there's a big gap in delay when the interest rates fluctuate, either going up or down. They don't happen immediately. So if the stock market crashed, let's just say, God forbid that should happen, but if it did happen, your money markets would maintain for a while, and then you could move it. But where would you move it is the question, because
I'm going to go into 4% savings accounts. I mean, that'll work for me for now.
there's no more 4% savings accounts.
Hello, let me interject. Hi, guys.
Hey, it's on tour backwards. What the hell? Reverse that sign immediately, Mark.
Synchrony Bank is very safe, and 4% or a little bit more even, and that's where I'm at right now. Also, I was listening. I did the same thing, David. I pulled out of the market. I've already had an account with Synchrony for years, and I love it.
Now, Synchrony is who? The Synchrony was something else before it was Synchrony.
I don't know.
I've had Synchrony Bank for a number of years now. I have a bunch of their credit cards also.
Yep, I do as well.
And they say now that credit card debt is like going out the hook. People can't pay back their credit card loans. But
Yeah,
the
there's
reality
a lot
on that,
of, there's also a lot of the next subprime could have happened with auto loans, believe it or not.
yeah, but they'll never go back to the rule of 78s. So we don't have to worry about that. But no, money is going to get a little more expensive. Things are getting a little bit crazy. We won't know what's going on for a while. But the reality is, that's the question. Are we all working? Are you working? Are you staying healthy? That's the question, what I'm asking you guys. So is everybody healthy?
Yeah, and I'm working.
There you go.
Pretty
All
much.
right, we'll stop the show right now. Thanks, everybody, for watching. No, all right, let's keep going. Okay.
Well,
So,
unfortunately, David, you're the exception. At your age, how many people are doing what you're doing?
I'm the living sound man. The oldest.
You're what?
I'm the oldest working sound man.
Oh, I don't know about that, but you're pretty close, right?
Well, too many older than me, so yeah. I mean, I'm the first year of the baby boomers. So before me, the Eisenhower kids.
Yeah. So now, Denny, what's going on in our 51st state?
Oh, ouch.
But no, let's put that a different way. What's going on in a place where I wish I was the citizen these days?
Yeah.
Oh man. First of all, everybody that I know, when they go into a store, like when you go to Costco, everywhere around me, everybody's saying, where does it come from? They check every item. If it comes from the US, they put it back on the shelf. That's what's happening right now at all the stores.
I think that's a smart move. I think that's a very smart
Well,
move.
I mean, first of all, it's self-interest, right? I mean, nobody, well, actually, it's not true. I'm not sure if you even saw this, but there's actually somebody in the province of Alberta who bought a sign and it says, to our prime minister, please say yes, we want to become we want to become Americans. But I mean, other than that, I know no one in Canada who's interested in this. No one. And most people are upset because it's even thought of and, proposed. Although myself, I thought this was going to happen a long time ago. We have 20% of the drinkable water in North America. We have tons of other stuff like, our hydro, blah, 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 blah. So to me, the fact that nobody's tried to get to this kind of surprised me. Now, Trump doing it, well, first of all, I mean, to me, he's just a gambler. Nothing, nothing gain and nothing ventured, nothing gain. He gets it. He's a rock star. It fails. He just pisses off people. But in Canada, I'm telling you, it's upsetting, and people are worried also about the economy because, our biggest trading partner is you guys. I mean, I think 75% of what's produced in Canada was sold to the States, and unfortunately, there was a trade imbalance. And Trump sees this as he's subsidizing Canada, which is not the case. It's just that we're sending more stuff out your way than we're taking from you guys. But like, for example, we make aluminum, which you guys need and don't have, or you're creating in such small amount that you need our aluminum. So what the fuck is he doing? What the fuck is he thinking? I don't know. You know.
Well, you know,
you
one
could say
thing
you
that
could say that same phrase about many things that this current administration is doing. But I got to tell you, he has lots of people that are standing behind it and love everything that he's doing.
Well,
So-
one thing I
For
will
sure,
say,
for
that,
sure.
one thing I will say, Denny, and I heard this the other day. I was talking to somebody who's much more smart than I am, or much more knowledgeable, and what they said to me was most of the electricity for the northeast of the United States comes from Canada.
It comes down
Vermont?
because it's down. It comes
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah, it
Just
comes
kidding.
from
Okay.
Quebec.
Oh, really?
it,
Okay,
it
that's
comes
great.
down. But it comes. The province of Quebec has so much hydropower, it's insane. So we're actually supplying. I think it's Vermont, Maine, Upper New York. I think it even goes into the tri-state.
Right,
You know,
Rhode
and
Island, I've heard. Yeah, the
Ontario-
whole upper. Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
How's that work?
Ontario.
Does
It comes down to transmission line. It goes down transmission lines.
right? But I mean, there must be local providers in each one of those places. It's not like the people in Vermont don't pay a Quebec-based company, do they?
No,
Yeah,
They-
they're
they-
buying it.
no.
Well, somebody is buying. Some American companies are buying this from Quebec.
It must be the
That-
local providers. Yeah.
no, it's the local utility companies. They're buying it. I mean, that's how all the electric companies they buy through transmission lines, and that's the problem right now is our transmission system in the United States is antiquated, you know. But
Yeah.
everybody knows that, and there's not going to be any change in that for a long time. So,
Yeah.
but
They're too busy
if-
spending the money on important things like tax cuts for the billionaires.
and dividends to those people who own their stock. However, as to go into the point where if the trade war between the United States and Canada ever gets to the point, Canada has that one card that will definitely play heavy because they'll say, okay, we're going to shut off the electricity to the Northeast. And that would be a disaster for anybody who got into that fight.
Yeah. Well, the prime ministers got together a couple of weeks ago and sat together and said, to look at what cards do they hold and, what could they play. Now, one of the things is Alberta's got lots of oil, and believe it or not, as much oil as you guys have, you're still, for some reason, need Alberta's oil. But that prime minister is not willing to pay that card, which pisses off the rest of the country because we're trying to stand united and say, hey,
Well, you
let's
can't
hold our
cut your
cards
nose
together,
off to spite your face. That's the old expression. You can't cut your nose off to spite your face. So in reality, he's being intelligent. But how are you feeling? I mean, how are you feeling personally? Are you able to go shopping? Are you able to, as your relationship's
Yeah.
good? Do you sleep well at night?
Well, I personally, actually, it's funny. I sleep really well, but I have a friend of mine who hasn't been able to sleep for many days. It's affecting a lot of people. The morale is not good because, I mean, as great as you guys love your country, and I understand why you do, there's a lot of things that we don't want here in Canada. I'm not sure. I don't have my last line. I can't read it.
Yeah, what does it say, Kenny?
Hang on, let me put my
Well, hold
glasses
on. We'll have to pin you. Let me
I
pin
can't
you,
read
Ken.
it with it up to the here. Well, just
There it is, and it's backwards. Is that Russian?
is it backwards? Really? It says,
Yeah, is it in Russian?
It says, but why don't you want to be part of America? Life expectancy in Canada is 82.6, in the U.S. it's 78.4. Infant deaths per 1,000 in Canada is 3.7. America it's 5.2. Yearly deaths from lack of health insurance in the I don't know if this is even true, but it says yearly deaths from lack of health insurance 68,000 in the U.S., 0 in Canada. How about
I would bet
Ozempic?
that to be true.
I bet it's not. Ozempic's price in the U.S. $998, in Canada $155. In underinsured or uninsured. In U.S., you got 85 million people. In Canada, you have none. Admin costs per capita in the U.S. it's $1,055. In the Canada, it's $196. So just those comparisons. That was on. I think that was on Dan Dugan's page. Yeah, Dan Dugan.
Yeah.
The challenge is, though, you can't go to Canada anymore. Canada doesn't want new citizens. And even if you did, there's a rule. Here's a rule for you single guys.
I think it's about the vetting, Jan. Jan, I think it's about the vetting. It's more about vetting than anything. I mean, we had problems as well. I mean, first of all, a lot of people were walking through, not too far from where I live. People were actually walking through from northern New York into the province of Quebec, and they've had to shut that down. But I mean, there's people trying to cross all over the country, and I forget. I think we put $1.3 billion into upping our game into people crossing in both directions. Like Mr. Trump wanted us to stop people from going your way, but while we're doing that, we're stopping people to come the other way as well. So, but I mean, so health issue, I mean, the cost of the health system, we can't afford to, have a heart attack that costs $100,000. I mean, Canadians would go broke, So there's
also,
that.
the one thing that we can import into your country are guns. You guys don't have enough guns.
Actually, believe it or not, we have more gun per capita than you guys do because of hunting. So we have lots of gun, but they're long guns for going hunting. But we have more guns per capita. So what we don't have is people with machine guns. We don't have those fancy little ones that shoot 90 bullets in
like the
60 seconds.
AR-15s, yeah.
Yeah. We don't have that.
Hang on. Those are not machine guns.
Oh, they're sort of machine guns. Yeah, they're sort of machine guns.
Unless you get the bump stock. If you get the bump stock,
that's like saying I'm not a sound engineer because I'm not. You know what I mean? It's just a phrase that people will use. So machine gun is just.
Well, it's an incorrect phrase.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
he's right. He's right.
They are.
You're right,
And,
Wayne.
and remember, everything you hear today is an opinion. So do your own research. Don't take our word for it.
No.
Most of this shit
I'm
is
sorry,
being made
Wayne.
up.
Yeah. Well, it's because I'm just not familiar with the lingo. Sorry about that. But so there's the gun thing. There's the health thing. Then there's the whole financial thing. I mean, right now, the U.S. dollar costs me $1.42 Canadian.
Wow.
So, yeah. So there's all that. So, and then there's the whole environmental thing. I mean, our environmental system is, pretty high. I mean, it's a high priority here. And then I'm going to go into a sacred cow here. We're a much more socialist country in many ways, but for some particular reason, it just seems that when I see what's going on in America, there's the center, and anything left of center is communism. But in Canada, we understand that there's the center, and at the other end, there's communism, and somewhere in between, there's some steps of socialism. Like, for example, in the province that I live in, I mean, they have daycares for $10 a day. Whereas, if you don't have that, I mean, I forget what it costs, but it's insane to have daycare. But that's, paid for by the government. So there's all sorts of things that are really important to the Canadians who've decided to have a more socialist idea. And, and again, in America, from the perspective that I have, is anything left of center is communism, but that's not the way we see it. Anyway, sorry if I rambled on.
No. We love it.
Well,
Rambling on. Wait, we got Mark from On Tour Network.
Yeah, what's happening with the touring world as far as Canada goes? I wonder. I haven't even thought about it lately, but it's still working full on. It hasn't stopped at all. The price of ticket is insane.
As far as I know, first of all, you got to understand, I retired 4 years ago. So I have a lot of friends that are still touring, but I mean, the industry, COVID set back the industry really, really bad, just the way it did pretty much in America as well. A lot of people retired. I mean, venues are having difficulties finding, people to work. I mean, of course, other than the IA venues, IA venues are IA venues.
Well,
but
everything here is on track pretty good. I mean, they're not having trouble selling tickets even at the outrageous prices. What I'm wondering is
same here. I mean, the shows are selling.
If there's a crew member that's American or anything gets injured or sick in Canada, how are they treating that now? Let's say he's got to be hospitalized.
No, there's nothing for. Well, first, hospitalized, we have free health care, right? So whatever happens, you're covered.
I think what Mark is implying with the bad relations that the two countries have right now, Canadian consumers are not favoring American goods, or they're avoiding American goods. So are the healthcare facilities also kind of turning down care for U.S. citizens like they haven't in the past?
Oh, I would be surprised if they turn anyone down. I'd be surprised.
Because they're
never
good
heard
people.
Of Canadian. Yeah. Well, I'm not
No,
sure
the
if that's
emergency
case.
medical care system in Canada is excellent. I know people that have needed it, and the emergency medical care, the emergency.
But listen, like, I have friends that needed surgeries. Like, I have my neighbor who needs knee replacements. She's been on a waiting list for, I think, a year or two. I had another friend that had a urinary tract blockage, 13 months to get operated. So, but the system took care of him, and blah, 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 blah. But I mean, 13 months to get the operation. So the system has its flaws, but you're covered, and it's not going to cost you anything.
Yeah,
so
but
no matter
if there's
you're covered.
If there's me, not anymore, but if I were there now and took a spill off the stage, I'm not going to be the first one to get care at the emergency room.
Well, basically, you're wrong about that, Mark, and I will tell you that all medical care anywhere in the world, it's the first thing is that depending on your degree of injury, if you're bleeding, they're going to take you in right away. If you have a heart attack, they'll take you in right away. But if you have something other than maybe a broken leg or something like that, where you hurt your leg, you're going to be waiting a little while. But they'll take care of the, stop the bleeding, start the breathing.
So
and then
Jan,
treat
it sounds
for
like
shock.
it sounds like you're saying they're not going to prejudice you because of your nationality.
No,
exactly.
Absolutely not.
Exactly.
But by the way, speaking of which, now I want to jump in something. We were talking about the touring industry right now. Live Nation, according to Polestar News, Live Nation Entertainment reported record revenues of more than $23.1 billion in 2024, and that's 2% edge over 2023.
Thank you, Taylor. Thank you, Taylor Swift.
And by the way, I got some good news for you guys. She's going back out. She's releasing a new album, and she's going to tour support it. There you go.
Already, that's surprising. And I have the happiest crew, happiest truck drivers, happiest bunch of people in the industry. That'll be fantastic. I'm sure they're asking. They're looking forward to her call.
I used to be happy getting $500 at Christmas.
Yeah, well,
can you imagine? Can you imagine how those truck drivers felt when they got $50,000 US?
$100,000.
Oh, $100,000.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Can you imagine?
Everybody, $100,000 each.
And I'm just happy with 90,000 views. Unbelievable! What would I do with that kind of money?
So, Denis, whereabouts in Canada are you located?
I am just outside of Montreal.
Because we're actually on our schedule. I have a show in Montreal and we have a show in Toronto. So maybe you want to come to our show when we're in Montreal.
I'd love to go see the show. Do you know where you'll be playing in Montreal?
I'll tell you in a second.
I'm gonna guess Place des Arts.
It says Bell Center.
Oh, the big venue. Okay, so it's That's a 20,000 seater. That's where the
That's where the
NHL
Canadians
plays.
play. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a top tier venue. I mean, that's actually, I think that after Madison Square Garden, it's the highest earning venue in North America. I think it's
How about that?
one of the top 2 or 3. Yeah.
So
And that's-
yeah,
there you go.
we play in Boston at TD Garden on Wednesday the 28th, and then Bell Center in Montreal on the 30th of May. It says here.
Are you taking
All right.
30th of May.
Is that an OSA PA going?
The PA will probably be the PA itself is probably from a company called if I can remember the name of it.
Solotech.
No, I wish. No, it's from. Oh my God, the company in St. Louis, the new Gateway out of St. Louis.
Oh, is that where the new rehearsal place is?
Well,
Right,
Gateway,
exactly.
hold it. Is that Chip Self's company?
Chip, is it? I don't know, but I know who's the guy that used to do monitors for Metallica? Paul, somebody. Paul Owen, yeah. Paul Owen is one of the main dudes there now. But anyway, they provide our stacks and racks, and we get everything else from OSA.
Okay.
Very good. Well, I got a question for you guys. I just saw this week as well, so I wanted to bring it up. How you doing? Okay. Do you guys know what the top 5 selling bands of all time, as far as record album sales go, and streaming and everything else like that?
Well, how are you
Can
going to
anybody
quantify
guess?
that? Record albums and streaming and
Yeah.
everything else?
Well, let's go
Michael
record
Jackson,
albums.
Michael Jackson or Beatles or
No,
something like that.
band, only bands.
Okay, only bands, not Michael Jackson then.
Yeah.
That'd be the Beatles, right?
Beatles
be-
number one. Beatles number one at 293 million record sales.
Where are the Eagles?
Not in the list.
Probably Metallica, yeah.
Nope.
Who else is in the top 10? Is what's her name? You know, our friend Taylor
Band.
Swift.
The band.
She's not a band. She's not a band.
Only
so
band,
Rolling
only
Stones.
band.
Are the Rolling Stones in the top
Rolling
10?
Stones is number 5 with 103.2 million record sales.
So I can't imagine who else is in there, but U2 maybe. I don't know what some of these bands. That
All
have a
right,
lot
Pink
of-
Floyd. Pink
No
Floyd
way,
is
really?
number 4 with
Holy
124 million records sold. Led Zeppelin,
Oh, there you go.
143 million record sales.
How about that?
And in second place, the band called Queen with 186 million records.
No
And then, of
kidding.
course,
Wow.
And then you got the Beatles with 293. So the Beatles are like, amazing.
Doesn't that say something about the fact that all these bands are like old? You
Yeah.
know?
It sure does.
I just
And they were all British bands,
Yeah.
British bands.
Well,
I mean,
Well, I
Van
just
Halen
sold-
wasn't in there, Metallica wasn't in there.
Yeah, but
So,
these
just
are,
sold the
REO
backstage
Speedwagon.
pass.
you're
I
talking
just-
albums.
Faster,
Albums, they don't make
107.
albums anymore. So they're all
Hey.
going to be bands.
But you said streaming was somehow,
I
figured into
made that up. I made that
You
up.
made
It's
that
just
up.
record
So it's
sales.
album sales.
Yeah,
Well, then
yeah, yeah.
David's right. It only applies
Yeah.
to bands that were around in that era, which we're not in anymore. So
There
any
you go.
current band like Foo Fighters is not going to be included because
Right.
they only sold albums for the first few years of their existence.
Well, my 1980 Queen backstage pass from the Forum with the backing still on it just sold for $180 on eBay last week. I said,
Wow, good for you. That'll pay for
I
a
had
couple
a
groceries.
pin.
Maybe
I had a
maybe
pin
2 dozen
from
eggs.
News of the World. I had a pin for News of the World I sold on eBay. I think I got $50 for it.
yeah.
Wow.
I still have a few of my Pink Floyd The Wall passes from the sports arena. But they're mostly going 140, 150. But so far the top price that I've gotten for anything was the Queen pass from 1980.
That's
Wow,
fantastic.
that's cool. I've got a bunch of backstage passes signed by the artists when I was doing production at the House of Blues. So I've got Aerosmith, I've got Steve. I got everybody who played there except for Bruce Springsteen. I didn't get Bruce to sign one.
Prince.
But man, Prince wasn't there when I was there. He prayed afterwards. I never got Prince to sign anything. My relationship with him for the 2 years that I worked for him was not the best relationship, But
No, you probably tried to look him in the eye.
Well, I wasn't allowed to look him in the eye.
No, I
Wasn't
know
Who
allowed
was
to
the
it.
talk
guy?
to him.
Skip. It was
I know.
Skip.
I know all
All your dealings were through Skip, right?
Well, yes. Well, actually, he would. I mean, the main story that I have is that I'm sitting in the booth, and he walks in and he sits down right next to me, and then he calls his bodyguard over. I had to move over a little because he sat like right on me, and he wouldn't even say anything to me. So I moved over, and then he goes to the bodyguard. He just goes, and the bodyguard comes up to me and says, "The boss would like you to move over a little bit."
It's perfect.
It was like unbelievable.
That's perfect Prince, right? Is it not? And anybody else know any better?
That's his seat. He wanted his seat and space.
He was
the
what
guy
the hell?
was a genius, obviously.
Right.
And
yeah.
it's really a shame that he's not here anymore. But but he was a terror for so many people because of how crazy he was, right?
Exactly.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I got a lot of stories about him. I guess the main story is I love the guy because he was so talented. When you would watch him perform, and he would get up on stage a lot and perform when I was working for him at the house at Glam Slam was the name of the club, and he was phenomenal. I mean, there was no one like him. There's a YouTube video when they did that Tom Petty. I think it was it Tom Petty or George Harrison's tribute. No, it was George Harrison tribute, where he gets up and his guitar playing is astronomically phenomenal. I mean, just amazing.
Doesn't he do a solo on While My Guitar Gently Weeps?
That's it.
That's
it.
the one.
Yeah,
That's the one.
that's it. And that's like probably some of the greatest guitar playing ever in the history of the planet.
Just
And,
as his halftime show at the Super Bowl was one of the greatest ever.
yeah, he was a phenomenal
rain.
talent. But what I find is that
Miami.
people who are geniuses in one area, and a lot of their other skills are missing for whatever
Totally
it is.
compromised. Totally compromised.
And his people skills were extremely compromised. But may he rest
boy,
in
what
peace.
a sound he would make. I know.
Oh man, it was hard to be mad at him. It was hard to stay mad at him, especially whenever we'd get mad at him, we'd just raise our rates a little bit and he'd pay it. And we loved made a lot of money working.
Well, speaking of Prince, I have to advertise my Prince Tour Diary. You guys heard of the Prince Tour Diary?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to leave in a minute, but I'll put a link to it in the chat so you can peruse it when you get a chance. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
What is it, Kenny? Just tell us what it is.
I don't know where I got it. Do you know where I got it?
I think it's been going around. Actually, I have a copy of it, but it's fantastic. It really is. I have a bookmark somewhere, Kenny, but yeah, it's great. It's a diary of a guy who worked for Prince on a European tour. Day one to day day 6, something like that. He didn't last a week. It was great.
That was like my experience with Led Zeppelin on tour. I didn't last a week, but it's all right. And then they ripped me off for the money. What the hell,
Well, on that note, enjoy the Prince Tour Diary. I did not write it, but it's very uncertain if it's even real or who wrote it or any of that stuff. But enjoy that, and I got to get out of here. But nice
all right.
talking.
Hey, Kenny, before you go, just remember, get Denny.
Ken, how do I contact you for the 30th show in May? 30th of May.
I have your email. I'll email you my phone number and stuff. Okay.
I forgot that I have yours as well. Okay, but please do.
Yeah, we'll do.
Very
All right,
good.
Talk to you guys later. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Hey. Well, I hope he doesn't get locked into a storage locker. Do you hear about this guy who was in a storage locker for 5 days? His wife locked him in the storage locker, little storage locker, and his storage locker was so crowded he dropped his cell phone. And for 5 days, he was looking for his cell phone, and finally he found it, and he called out, and somebody rescued him. It was in Monroe, North Carolina. So that's Google it. Anyway,
That's a
What
little
else is
step
going on?
above throwing somebody's clothes out the window or something like that.
Oh yeah, but he's claiming that it was an accident. That she didn't know he was in there.
Missing for 5 days, right?
Yeah.
No. So anyway, what about that? What about that Delta airline flight that flipped over?
Wow.
What the
And-
hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, those landing gear just collapsed.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't look like he was coming down that hard. Looks to me like a flaw in the plane.
Actually, yeah, they actually said that he was coming in too fast.
Yeah, that happened in Canada, right? It was
Yeah.
Minnesota to Canada. And anyway,
Toronto.
Delta just said, hey, everybody on that plane, we're giving you 30 grand.
Yeah, good
30
luck.
grand.
Good luck getting away with that.
30 grand, that's nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know, and you're still allowed to take him to court. By the way, it's just 30 to move along. But I think that there was in the way you're still going to be allowed to take him,
Right.
to court and
2
whatever.
people already
The 30
have, and I think everybody else is going to jump on.
So
it.
what are they going to sue Delta for? They didn't get hurt.
But they
Oh,
did.
some people did. Some people did.
Yeah.
Oh well, those people that did, yeah. Then I could see.
Pain and
I thought
anguish.
everybody lived.
Yeah,
But
well,
they got to live the rest of their life. They got to live the rest of their life with that in their mind. It's going to mess them up.
can you fly again? Are you going to have nightmares for the rest of your life? What about your stuff that got burned and you lost? There's all sorts of reasons to sue them.
Yeah,
But I
spoken like
tell
a
you,
true
there's been
American.
A rash of incidents. There was just yesterday in Chicago at Midway Airport, the Southwest jet was coming down to land. He was just getting ready to land, and then a business jet says, "Oh yeah, I'll just scoot across the runway right now." And the Southwest jet, pulled up and went around.
They didn't hold short. That plane was supposed to hold short, and they
He just blew by it,
Yeah.
and
It
and
just
then-
seems to me there's an awful lot of incidents going on with airplanes and problems up in the air and crashes and all of this stuff. All of a sudden, just seems to be a rash. I just don't understand how that could happen.
Maybe
just because
Jan, maybe it's the press. Maybe it's the press just getting a hold of more of it now.
Very possible, or it could be that we, a lot less employees working for the FAA right now.
Well,
That's not.
it's too early to tell on that.
Could be. Don't know. The other thing that I do know, did I tell you, by the way, we had 651 total views just on the YouTube channel? Did I happen
Yes,
to
you
mention
did.
that? I don't know if I
Twice
did.
now.
Yeah, some people, they're crazy. They watched 267 minutes of it. That's insane, I tell you. Oh, remember to click the like button and share the show. Yeah, that's it.
I actually watched
Hey.
last week's episode, before I came here today, so I knew what I was getting myself into.
You watched it, and he watched it 651 times.
No, just once, just once.
All from
And
different
actually took
IPs. From different IPs.
I actually took some notes.
And you
I actually
decided to
took some
come
notes.
anyways, Denny?
Yeah, I did. So you guys talked about the DNB, and we're talking about the difference in DNB. The DNB has a cardioid box, and not a lot of PAs are cardioid. One thing that you talked about last week. The other thing, the 34-inch, the turbo 24-inch sub.
Yep.
With the TMS3, loved it. The other
Same.
thing, Mayer is not a 24-inch driver in their new box. It's a 21-inch driver.
Yep.
And what's the last one? I was a huge fan of the Martin rig. And I know you guys talked about a lot of rig, but I preferred, of all those PAs of those days, I preferred the Martin Audio.
Yeah.
I was a fan of the Martin Audio. To me, that stood, I mean, I loved all of the rigs. I heard them all, but my favorite was the Martin Audio.
Anybody who used that Martin rig loved the Martin rig. As a matter of fact,
Yep.
Kenny Newman preferred the Martin rig over anything when he was out on tour with Manilow. That's what he preferred.
Oh, yeah.
The challenge with Martin is they never built up their network. Had they would have built up their network in the United States, they could have been humongous, but they didn't do it.
Are you talking the Martin, the powered Martin boxes?
No, these are the ones before.
Okay.
We're talking about M1s, M2s, Philips.
Yep.
The old, I loved it. The old,
Yeah.
That old
I
stuff
tell you
was
what,
cool.
the old Tasco had, I mean, tons of that stuff.
Yeah, they did.
That was a
Actually,
great
was that
box.
before you worked for Tasco, Greg?
Oh yeah, we had them, and then I tell you what, I probably done Cobo Hall at least 30 times in my lifetime, and the best sounding show ever was in 1970. Oh gosh, I would say 3 or 4, and it was Supertramp's first U.S. tour.
There you go.
It was Monday, February 3rd. I remember it well.
Yeah.
I was
I tell
at
you
7:45.
And I've heard so many. I've heard you name the major sound reinforcement company in that hall. I've heard it, and including systems that I've been on and I've worked. No, and people have come close, but nobody's been able to touch the sound of that. It was just one of those magical combinations.
Those were great boxes, and that was a great band to play through them.
Yep.
Yeah, but those were 4 feet deep horns.
Yep.
And I hate to say it, but all of the PAs today, they can do great frequency response. They can do flat, but they're never going to have the impact of I mean, Supertramp on that Breakfast in America tour. I think they had 24 of those double 15s per side.
Yeah.
And man, oh man, I mean, every single kick drum was like a thump in the chest, and the vocals that's another thing. Horn loaded PA, the line arrays, you hear it in the PA, whereas that Martin PA, the vocals all sounded like they were right here in your face because of the horn loaded,
Yeah.
Anyway,
and they were a lot of fun. They were a lot more fun in the trucks, also. Not.
Yep.
By the way, speaking of Supertramp, did somebody put up in the backstage lounge?
Yeah.
A video of Supertramp.
Robert. Yeah.
Oh man, that was really good.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, did everybody see the thing? The celebration of life for Vince Edwards?
No.
No, when did that take place?
No, it's coming up.
It's up in I think the 14th, 15th. I have it right here, but up at Sound Image.
What's the deal with them selling merchandise? I don't quite understand that.
Oh, everybody wants a Vince. I mean, I want a Vince hoodie. I'll buy one because Vince was
They're just going to raise funds for for family.
Yeah, for the family. Yeah.
Right. Does anybody know? Well, let's keep this for after the show. I don't want to put this up on the show, but may he rest in peace.
Yeah.
He died at 56 years old.
Young.
And it was like it's like, I don't know about you guys. I'm 73 right now. And when I see somebody dying or hear somebody dying, I start to say, oh, he died at 56, 73, and then I do the math of how much longer I've outlived him. If somebody dies, let's say at 76, I say, oh my God, I got 3 more years before I could beat him out. Does anybody think like that, or am I just insane beyond the shadow of a belief?
It's scary. Sure, scary.
Life it's a gamble. How long are you going to last? You could go tomorrow.
Yep.
I keep saying to myself, when something happens where I get out of breath, because I do a lot of sports now, and I really push myself on the pickleball courts, and it sounds funny. I push myself on the pickleball courts. Of course, playing with a lot of people that are in their 90s. It's really hard to beat these guys. No, only joking. But the reality is, I think to myself, wow, I'm not ready to die yet. I cut my finger. Oh my God, I'm not ready to die yet. It's like, what the hell,
Speaking of pickleball, the city of Dunedin, which owns a very popular park called Honeymoon Island here, they have banned in that park because people have wanted to go ahead and put up pickleball courts in this nature preserve called Honeymoon Island. And they said, nope, you cannot do it. Now the state's trying to come in and say, well, maybe we might, we're the state. We might be able to do that,
Well, the thing is about pickleball, the one negative about pickleball is, and it's not for the people that play it, it's for the people that live around the pickleball courts, is the noise.
Yeah.
The noise that the pickleballs make, when you hit the racket. And there's one particular racket called the Z5, which is kind of metallic. And it's a very, very popular racket for beginners. And that makes so much noise when you hit the ball. And it's insane for people who are, living in a nearby vicinity to listen to that kind of pop, 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 pop. And you could play for hours because it doesn't take a lot of energy, you could play pickleball a lot longer than you could play tennis, So I feel sorry for those people living there.
In Florida.
Yeah. Good analogy.
The celebration of life for Vince is the 23rd of March at 2:00 Pacific time.
Right.
Oh, that's a while from now.
Yeah. They also announced tomorrow they're going to try they're going to do his Thursday night broadcast as well.
Exactly. George is going to do it.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll have more information on that. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah. An interesting guy. I had a little bit of interaction with him over the years, and then he interviewed me on his show. And super nice guy. I always thought he was the kind of guy that was going to live forever.
Yep.
Never thought he would, he would go before me. That's for sure. But even though I think he smoked a lot, drank a lot, and lived the kind of life that that most people would be envious of because they don't want to die early. So I guess there you go. What can I say? Anyway, what else is going on with anybody? Oh, the Backstreet Boys now are doing a summer show set at the Sphere. They'll be doing all of July. They'll be there every weekend in July. So if you're a Backstreet Boys fan, there you go.
So it goes from Kenny to Backstreet Boys. Boy, that would strip your gears.
Wow.
Yep. Hey,
I'm surprised that they could fill that place for 30 days.
Yeah.
No, it's not 30 days. It's weekends only. They don't do it. They don't do it all. It's only weekends. They can't. It's impossible. I don't even think the Rolling Stones could go in there and fill it up every day. Even Billy Joel couldn't do it. I mean, even Billy Joel playing Madison Square Garden, he couldn't play every day. So there's no act that could do it every day. But weekends, yeah, sure. I mean, U2 did it, but they can only do it on the weekends. So, hey, what do you guys think? Speaking of weekends, what do you think about what just happened with James Bond and Amazon? Anybody have any opinions?
No. I'm not sure what happened.
Well, what happened is that Amazon got now all of the rights from the Broccoli's to now have complete creative control over James Bond series.
But they still own the trademarks, though. The Broccoli's do. They own the IP, but from my reading of the agreement is that Amazon Amazon Studios can produce the next James Bond movie. Basically.
That's right. They could pick who the next James Bond is, and the rumor is Jeff Bezos is going to put himself in that role.
No, he's going to be one of the villains with the cat.
That would be funny. Let's see what else is going on. What else is going on? Let's see. I'm not going to talk about the Kennedy Center. You could do your own research on that. Kendrick Lamar at the Super Bowl. You could do your own research at that. Here's another interesting story. Thinking about life in general, and this will be the last thing we'll cover before we say goodbye to the audience, and then we can get into what we really want to talk about that we can't broadcast. There is an article right now saying that are your dreams being manipulated by ads? They're saying that they're now using psychological methods in the advertisements so that it instills in your brain so you dream about it, and then it manifests itself so that when you wake up, you got to go out and buy the product.
May I?
I know that the single frame of popcorn has been very effective because I still occasionally enjoy popcorn.
Yep.
I feel that way about Cialis. I tell you, what can I say?
Yeah, but that's what Bangkok night markets are for, Jan. Knockoff watches and cheap Cialis.
Yeah, there you go. I'll have to go to a Bangkok market. Oh, by the way, this weekend we are going to Bangkok. Bo and I are going to Bangkok. We are now we are applying for her ITIN number so that she could have a Social Security number or an ITIN number. And then the next step is to get her a passport. Not get a passport. Get her the visa. A tourist visa to come to the United States, because she really doesn't want to live in the United States, and I don't blame her, because everything there is so foreign to her. She's used to, Thai food in the manner that she's used to Thai food, and when you leave Thailand, all of the food is basically cultivated in that genre of country you go to. If you go to America, it's American Thai food. If you go to Canada, it's Canadian Thai food. Only Thai food in Thailand is real Thai food. So there you have it. And she loves that Thai food. So there you have it. There you have it. That's it. All right. Who's got something else to say? Everybody's okay. Wayne, you were very quiet today.
I don't have a lot of big opinions today.
Well,
I just want to say happy birthday, Fred, even though he's not here today.
Yeah, happy birthday, Fred. Yep. Happy birthday, Fred. Well, we're into that screen. Yeah,
I'm going to Philadelphia on Friday. Hotel California's got a show in a casino in Philly, and it's going to be my first opportunity to ever get a Geno's steak cheesesteak.
Oh, there you go.
I've been thinking about it for weeks. I'm figuring out I can't get there because I'm only in and out, in Friday, out Sunday. So I'm going to have it delivered.
I prefer Pat's, but that's just me.
But
yeah,
I mean,
actually, here's what to do, David. Get one of each. They're right across the kitty corner to each other. Have your runner, somebody from the venue go out and grab you two.
Well, if I can do that, it's about 4.5 miles away. But Geno's versus Pat's, I Googled it, and there's a lot of Geno's versus Pat's on the web.
Yeah.
Turns out that Pat's cuts their meat into little cubes, and Geno's slices it. So I decided I want Geno's because I like it better that way. Otherwise,
these are better places.
I was in Philadelphia one time for a few weeks, and I walked over twice. I went once to Geno's and I went once to Pat's to specifically compare them. I preferred Pat's, although I will say probably Jim's on South Street is also very, very good.
But why did you like Pat's over Geno's? What was the difference?
Well, I'm not huge on Cheese Whiz. I prefer the provolone or the mozzarella, whatever.
Cheese whiz, is that a real food?
Yeah.
What? Cheese whiz?
They
That's
have-
not
Well,
real.
whether
It's
it's
so
a
funny.
whe-
Both those places have just shelves full of gallon cans of cheese whiz.
yeah,
So
yeah,
apparently,
made by
know-
Monsanto. No,
and I thought the instruction sign in line for Pat's where it instructs you how to order wit or without, which I believe it's been a long time. I think that refers to the onions, but that was my personal opinion at the time. It could be different now, but you really can't go wrong if you're in
It's kind of like, do you want a Lamborghini or a Maserati? That
Yeah,
they're different. But
I'll tell you what, I buy this shredded sirloin that comes in a 1 pound packet at the supermarket, and I bought a Blackstone griddle, and I can whip up a pretty damn good Philly right in the backyard.
There you go. Well, just remember what W.C. Field said on his tombstone. All things considered, I'd rather be in Philadelphia. So there you have it. Hey, with that in mind, we're going to say goodbye to everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to click the like button. Also, I would have to say, remember, click the like button if you really want to be nice. Share the show, and we will see you all again next week. Remember, everything you heard today is an opinion, so do your own research. And remember, you make it happen. Stay safe and healthy, and bye for now.